Action Comics 978, written by Dan Jurgens
Ugh,
and art by Carlo Berberi. I think that pronounce that.
Barbieri,
Oh, sure.
right? Barbieri?
Barbieri.
Why
Barbarian.
not?
Barberi. Barbie. Carlo Barbie. Uh, so this was the second half of what we started last issue, which is basically Clark's in the fortress and he's looking at the crystals to see his memories and sort of just establish where things are. So last issue we got Smallville Live coming out as Superman and that side of things.
Mhm.
This one kind of picks up with him actually coming to the public as Superman and establishes sort of parts of the history in this part of the timeline and other parts such as his death and
So, I have a question. Matt, could you hold off for 2 minutes? Because once you start ranting, that's it. No one else is getting a
No,
word
no,
in.
I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'm gonna put in my things that aren't about that issue, because there are stuff that I did like in here. Like
yeah,
my ugg isn't that I didn't enjoy the issue.
yeah,
My ugg, I don't like
See,
something that they did that hurts my heart, and I don't manifest sadness. I manifest rage. I'm like the Hulk that way. So when you hear me let out that sound, that's really a tear coming down. So
I actually didn't think it was that good an issue. I thought I get the point of it, but it didn't work for me like last time. Last time it worked because we were watching Clark watch it for all of it, and it had this really personal connection. Whereas here it felt like, no, let's just tell the story. Let's just get the continuity up. I didn't have that connection to it, and in that sense, it felt a bit more clunky to me.
yeah. This was definitely weaker on the last one. Partly because yes, the
yeah,
last one had that like he's seeing his parents like send him off and be scared, and he sort of gets emotional about it. Like it had that connection.
It grounded it and made it a
Yeah.
story. Rather, this just feels like, oh, okay, we need to do this.
gotcha.
Yeah. Whereas that's definitely an issue. I agree with that. I also
Mhm.
think that this also did a couple of confusing things with what's in continuity now, especially in the second half when it got to
Yep,
when John was born, how long that was, what he was doing during that
yep.
time. It really made that like muddy, where it doesn't quite add up for me
Which,
anymore.
just don't forget, there are 10 years missing still.
That's true. Yeah, there
So
is.
so I think there's a lot there that once we get to the end of that, will make that a little bit better. Because we got to remember, John as a character is only 2 years old at this point when the conversions happen. You know,
2015,
uh, yeah.
somewhere.
So
So
Yeah.
just under 2 years.
yeah, so it also feels like Jurgens was trying to get his stuff in that came from that Lois and Clark mini that he wanted. He wanted to keep the Himalayan fortress
Yeah. I thought
and
that was a weird
the black
choice.
suit. Yeah, me
Because I was
too.
like, why do we need to keep that then? Really? Like,
Because with the Mixapidalic stuff, it could have wiped that all out, and you could have
yeah,
just had him.
that was
And I
strange.
get him laying low and moving, while John's born. Because there's other people that could
Yeah.
take
But
care.
here's the thing though, like, John's 10, 11 years old. That implies that technically Superman for 10 years was inactive, or at least not publicly active.
Yeah,
Here's what I do like. I like that the coming out as Superman stuff, and there's a few bits after that. I like that that's really the Secret Origin stuff. Like they're going with the
hmm
John Secret Origin, which is cool because I like that book. Uh, then they actually even go with the specific moment from the movie. The catching the helicopter. That is the first moment of
well,
him in the public eye.
it's still very Secret Origin.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff in here with Lombard being such the jock guy and like trying to prank Clark on his first day, and even Lois with the helicopter catch, which I like. Even though Birthright's my favorite Superman origin, I can deal with Secret Origin as the
Well,
origin.
yeah. I mean, Secret Origin takes a lot from that movie anyway, because obviously
Yeah,
John's and Donna. But
Donner. Yeah,
yeah, so that was all there. So and then everyone now at the minute, John's is kind of spearheading, still kind of behind the scenes, is at the top.
yeah,
So it makes sense to follow his direction still.
yeah. Well, and because you get the Metallo look from that series, and you get the Parasite look from that series too.
Yeah.
So, I like a lot of that. I just went back and looked over, and it's got Perry holding John as a baby. So I don't know if it was 10 years that Superman was inactive. It looks like he was just inactive for like two.
But I thought the whole point was that once John was born, that's when they moved and they took the sabbatical and they were like, no, we're going to take some time and
Yeah,
do this separate.
he
Yeah.
went off-gridded Superman after John was born. But
Yeah.
this is the weird thing. They're saying that they had the New 52 costumes because Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, we see all them,
Yeah.
they seem to have the New 52 costumes for John being born.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where it's getting muddy, though, because I thought that I'd missed the 10-year thing.
But that's
But
the thing,
then you
Matt.
look-
The 10-year thing's meant to be before the New 52 starts.
I know. But that's what I'm saying, though, is... So, I'm agreeing with you on it being muddy,
Yeah.
but I don't think he wasn't Superman for 10 years. Because it said that the planet needed us. And they go back, and John's clearly no more than 3? Because the way that Perry's holding him?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I'd say much younger than that.
Yeah.
Well,
so...
Well,
he couldn't have
but here's the
not
thing,
been-
Matt. I didn't think him holding the well. Here's my problem, though. That implies that all this stuff with the
Yeah.
Himalayas and Blank and all that in that fortress happened like 7 years ago.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It feels like Jurgens just wanted to get his stuff in still. Make that miniseries matter, because by the time we get to the end, that miniseries doubles back. Which is my big problem. As much as I love that miniseries, the whole point of that was to show that there's a classic Superman still. Now you don't have to differentiate.
Yeah.
He is Superman. New 52 Superman's no longer. He never was.
Yeah, that made it really muddy and just I don't know, it's just weird. That part's really funky. I did like that afterwards. He hears like the voice and it's like Oz, Mr. Oz,
Yep.
basically saying, "Yeah, you're dealing with forces way beyond you."
Didn't Oz say that to him in the Rebirth issue?
Yep.
The one shot. Like that exact
Yep.
line.
He brings, because Clark brings that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Clark, that's one of the things. This is the thing with all this is Clark at the end of this says, "Wait, okay, this is how I remember everything, but it still feels like something's weird, something's missing, something's not quite right." And he sort of remembers that Oz interaction. He's like, "Oh yeah, you were there back when this was a thing." I like the panel after that though when we see like the whole super family, which amusingly includes Lex.
I think what amuses me most is Lex is front and center.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
It's classic Lex, isn't it?
It is. But I also like that it involves Kenan and Steel and Superwoman.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like seeing Supergirl, Superwoman, New Superman all together. I like the idea that eventually we're going to get a crossover that brings them all together to fight something.
I would gladly trade
but you know
one
who
of
it doesn't
them.
involve, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would gladly trade one of them. Easy.
We'll get to that. So I'm saving the Matt Rage thing for the end.
That's fine.
Let's
No,
talk
you're
about,
fine.
let's talk about the end of the issue first. So we see Digital Code Man go and get Eradicator on the moon. He digs him up basically on the
Digital
moon.
Code Man.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Well, obviously I know who he is now, but I'm saving it to get there. So he gets Eradicator, and at the end of the issue, so he's got Blank, he's got Eradicator, and he's got Metallo. And I had to actually remember who Metallo was because he's given me a completely new suit, so I had to think about it for a second when I saw him. But it turns out that Digital Code Man is none other than Hank Henshaw.
Who's not
Yeah.
Cyborg Superman because, for whatever reason, Cyborg Superman is now Zor-El. And now Henshaw is Digital Code Man.
Yeah.
He's Digital Code Man. Yeah.
But it is Superman Revenge Squad, which we called coming.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm
when
cool
we
with
saw
this.
them rounding it up.
I actually
Yeah.
like this team of villains. I think this is pretty badass.
And I think it's the tease for the next issue is recruiting Mongol. I was like, this
Yeah.
is going to be fun.
Yeah, I think this next
You
arc's
gotta
going to
get
be
a
a
Mongol
blast.
burn moment, Jurgens. Oh,
I mostly enjoyed the art, I will say that.
I just had a thought.
Yeah.
What if Jurgens was drawing Booster for action, and we get Booster coming in later because all this timey-wimey?
I can
like-
see it.
As much as I would love his own mini or his own series,
You don't care as long as you get Booster.
that's it. But if you put him in my other favorite heroes book,
Yeah.
it's a twofer.
We did gloss over the sort of middle part of the recount because the Crystal recounts the death of Superman and the events that come after it. And nothing seems to have changed here. He dies, he comes back, he gets married with Lois afterwards. And obviously there was the whole Reign of the Supermen thing, where clearly all three that were there originally are still there. You got Henshaw, Cyborg Superman.
So wait, if Henshaw wasn't Cyborg Superman, who's the Cyborg Superman?
That's a
Or
good
maybe it's
question.
RL. Maybe it's RL. But obviously it was Henshaw originally. But it looks like him.
Yeah.
And Steel and Eradicator, which is all three. No one's missing.
No, there was 4. There's Reign of the Superman. There's 4. You had the Kryptonian one, right? I can't remember what they called him. Then you had the Man of Steel, who was Steel. Then you had the Cyborg Superman, right? And there was a 4th one. And he had a stupid haircut and an earring and a leather jacket. And it was called the Metropolis Kid. But he didn't want to be called Kid because he was the Superman. And, 10 years after that, he became one of my favorite characters of all time. Connor Kent, Superboy. And they just wrote him out of existence, and I'm pissed.
Look.
Who?
Here's
Don't do it, Pete.
my consolation for you, Matt, is that the only good reason I can think of for them to have changed this is they're reintroducing him for a good reason.
I'm going to take it out of the story and go to the real world. They just released a John's Teen Titans book volume.
Yes.
Yeah, the re-releasing has run as those thick
He
trades.
is prominent in that.
Yes.
That is my one hanging thread, like that's
No, I
keeping this
honestly think
moth-eaten sweater together.
I honestly think, what benefit do they have to getting rid of it, other than they've got
don't.
plans for him coming up?
I hope, because you can't call him Superboy because that's John, and that's fine. We can find an in between, But I'm reading this and going, no, that's not how that happened. I read that story. You're missing the Metropolis Kid and his stupid haircut, right?
It was a stupid haircut.
It was, but it was so 90s, and that's why it worked.
Yeah.
I think Matt's confused. He's putting your name next to Clark Kent, and he's come up with this Connor Kent character.
There's a Connor Kent.
I don't know what he's
Although
doing.
the Legion doesn't exist at this point either, because they didn't even touch on the Legion of Superheroes in his Smallville thing, which you would have thought, because that was a whole issue of Secret Origin, right?
Yeah, I think that makes sense, because clearly, because of the change of reality, they never came back like they did before. So that's why we have Saturn Girl and Arkham apart.
Yeah, that's okay, because we know where that's going.
Right.
So
we've got
that's another thing
that I didn't think about when we read that issue last time, was that they kind of skipped over Superman and the Legion, and him being, the inspiration for that years to come. Which that was a big part of Johns' run on Action Comics as well.
Which makes sense, though, that none of that's there if, we don't have the Legion.
Right.
So.
Exactly. But this is going to become my Stephanie Brown flag that I carried after New 52. That Stephanie Brown does exist. Connor Kent does exist. He was Superboy. Now he'll be... I can't even think of a name. You can't call him Flamebird. It's kind of lame.
Maybe, because with his attitude, he doesn't necessarily need a name. He can just
though.
Yeah.
I need him and Tim.
He
Yeah.
My favorite romance.
Red Superboy.
Yeah. And I get that Connor Kent's redundant with you have Supergirl in the teen era and right now, and you have John taking the Superboy mantle.
But he has the angst that none of those are filling still.
Yeah.
They're in the teen range, but they're not the angsty kid.
Yeah, he's still half Luthor.
Yeah, he's closer to Damien than he is John.
Yeah, and that's why he gets such along with Tim so well, because he's the Damien that doesn't want to take Tim out to be the only Robin.
Yeah, pretty much.